Alright, what is going on? What's happening? How's everyone doing today? My name is Chuck, and welcome back to a brand new video. Welcome everybody to Rebirth Reinforced, Rebirth Island 2.0, whatever you want to call it. We got a brand new update today. And with the brand new update comes a whole slew of different changes, buffs and nerfs, weapons being added, and everything like that. It's a whole bunch of crazy stuff, and that's why today I'm giving you guys my brand new top 5 weapons y'all should be using here on Rebirth Island 2.0. Before any farther though, I want to give a shout out to the Noti Gang. If you guys want to be featured in a future video, make sure y'all drop a like, subscribe to all the notifications turned on, comment down below Noti Gang, and make sure y'all watch the video all the way through. With that being said, let's hop into these top 5 best setups. Okay, so our first gun here today, we're going to be taking a look at the Armagera 43. This is the brand new Vanguard SMG that just came into the game. We were able to unlock it yesterday and be able to max it all out, so I got to use it in Warzone here today, fully maxed out, and this is a pretty solid SMG. I used it on live stream earlier. For those of you guys that came through, thank you so much. But I got a pretty awesome build here that I figured off stream that I know you guys are for sure going to like, because it definitely hits really, really hard. So let's hop into a build for this thing. All right, so I'm going to here. This is going to be my build for the Armagera. First thing on this is going to be that beautiful recoil booster. Of course, this is kind of a classic here for all of the Vanguard SMGs. Definitely want to run that recoil booster here, which is going to help out with the TTK, making it take people out faster, quite a bit faster. So definitely go ahead and run the recoil booster on this gun. After that, in the barrel section, this is where it gets a little bit iffy, a little bit interesting. I was trying out everything under the sun. I mean, I tried out all these different barrels minus the short barrel, and I also went around, asked a bunch of my friends, and we kind of came to the conclusion that the body 570mm Precisione, whatever you want to call it, the precision, I don't know what the E on the end of that's for, but basically this 570 precision barrel is what I'm going to call this thing. This is definitely the way to go for it. I know a lot of people are using something similar, you know, is barrel wise on the Owen gun. I think it's the Gawain barrel, which is what I was running. It hits pretty hard, but definitely go ahead and run the body barrel on this thing. Definitely the way to go. You have to run this exact combination of these attachments, otherwise this is not the barrel to use. It only works for like this specific combination, by the way. At that inner barrel section, you got the M1941 hand stop. Definitely got to be able to control this recoil, because of course the ammo type that we're going to be using, and I mean definitely the hand stop is the way to go for pretty much all recoil control aspects on the Vanguard weapons. Definitely my top tier attachment for that. The magazine though, we have the last magazine that you unlock, which is the 8mm Kurz 72 round magazine. This gives us a benefit of bullet velocity and range, damage, bullet penetration, and of course this is a 72 round magazine, which is pretty crazy for an SMG. So I would definitely say that y'all should be using this one here in combination with that barrel. It's going to make this thing really solid. You kind of counteract that fire rate decrease with the recoil booster. It's even to come out on top and make your gun still, you know, pretty much have a faster fire rate. But definitely go ahead and run this. This is definitely the way to go. Also on the ammunition side of things, I'm running lengthened, and I normally don't run lengthened on any of my SMGs. That was like an AR thing, but they actually did nerf, I think it was the hollow point here in the update. So you don't want to be running hollow point. You for sure don't want to be running incendiary. Frangible is a little bit more gimmicky, and it doesn't necessarily work as good. So pretty much you're left with lengthened here as, like, you know, your go-to for your ammunition type. This is kind of what we got to run nowadays. After that though, in the rear grip section, we have a stipple grip, which is going to help with our recoil recovery and initial firing recoil. Would highly recommend this because this gun's going to kick a little bit. We want to be able to manage that as much as possible. For our optic, we actually have the MM Largo. It's going to be pretty much one of the later unlock here for the sights. This is the iron sights. You guys can run these, or if you really want to, you can run something like this slate reflector. Little personal preference on this end. You're just going to get a bit of a ADS benefit when you run the iron sights as opposed to the slate, but overall you really can't go wrong with either or. After that though, in the stock section, we got the Amaretto SA folding for sprint speed and movement speed. All the rest of these down here are pretty counterintuitive for an SMG build. I mean, you don't want to lose hip fire accuracy, movement speed, I mean sprint to fire speed. I mean, all these are just really bad for an SMG. So this is pretty much the one you're left with here. There's not really many options. This is like the only good one you can use, and it's at least it's the first one you unlock for the stock section. Now for our perks though, we're running sleight of hand here for reload quickness. Definitely want to have this. I have seen, you know, people try to run vital, but I don't think vital stacks with the damage max, so you don't really want to run vital. And I mean, listen, you guys can try out something like hardscope or SETI, but I like having a little bit of that reload quickness, and I feel like it actually works out pretty nicely for me to run sleight of hand. And for our last one here, we have quick, which is going to help with our sprint speed. And overall, this can make this gun here just a little bit faster, which is definitely something I like. I mean, I like to be able to run around fast. That's the primary reason I run around with an SMG over an AR, because I want to be able to move more quickly. So This is my full build here for the Armagera 43. Definitely go ahead and give this one a shot. It's actually really fun to use, and it's a pretty cool new DLC weapon that I highly recommend y'all go ahead and give it a shot and try to unlock. Next up, we're going to be taking a look at the beautiful XM4 here. This is the Cleanup Crew variant with that beautiful diamond cam on it. I love how it works out. I've been really enjoying using the XM4, and also specifically after the update. This is kind of being now my AR, apart from that C58 that I've been going back to, and I'm really starting to kind of fall in love with using that XM4 again over that C58. It just feels so satisfying to use, and it's really solid. And I mean, I think they tried to nerf it here a little while ago, but it's still so good. You guys should definitely be using the XM4. So let's get into a build for it. All right, so this is my build here for the XM4. Pretty tried and true and simple. First thing on this, the agency suppressor. I mean, you got to run the agency. There's no reason for you to run the regular. You're not trying to make this into an AR SMG hybrid. That's the only reason you'd ever do that. The agency, though, is just the way to go. After that, in the barrel section, we have the task force barrel here for bullet velocity, horizontal recoil control, effective damage range, and vertical recoil control. Of course, this is going to be the barrel you should be running. There's no reason to run any of these other ones in here. They're not nearly as good. Task force is just 110% the way to go on the XM4. 7 days a week, you know, 365 days a year, don't even matter. Just always use this. After that, in our barrel section, field agent grip here, horizontal and vertical recoil control. Of course, this is going to be the option. I mean, the XM4 does have some, you know, vertical recoil kick on it. We for sure got to be able to manage that. I mean, if you don't have a foregrip on here, or a good foregrip, aka the field agent, you're going to be bouncing around quite a bit and not hitting those shots, and this will not be an effective AR at range. After that, in the magazine section, I am a 60-round magazine kind of guy, so I do be running the 60-round magazine. I told you guys previously I was running the 45 quite a bit, but for whatever reason, I started really liking using the 60 just because I wanted to be able to put some more shots down range, and I kind of started to cope with having a little bit of a slower ADS time. And overall, I kind of feel like the benefit of having the 60 kind of outweighs that little bit lower ADS time. I just really like it and think it works out pretty nicely. At that, in the optics section, though, I'm running the Axe Arms 3 times. Of course, this is my go-to on the XM4 and pretty much any other Cold War AR. Definitely give this a shot. This is my full build here for the XM4. Super good, and 110% y'all should be using the XM4 as a primary AR here after the Rebirth Island 2.0 update. I want to take a look here at the Vanguard Owen gun. This is 100% right now an SMG that you guys need to be using. I mean, it's got a beautiful magazine size. It's very easy to use, and when you have the right build on this, I mean, you're going to be taking out pretty much full squads within a single clip, and it's going to be hitting very hard. And that's the reason I like this gun, is it's always very consistent. And I definitely say that out of all the Vanguard SMGs between this and, I mean, well, the well gun did get nerfed, but this is probably like one of the #1, if not the #1 SMGs to use in all of Warzone right now. All right, so this is gonna be my build here for the Owen gun. First thing, let's get into this here. It's gonna be that beautiful recoil booster. Of course, like I said, this is what you want to run on all your Vanguard weapons, at least the SMGs. And after that, in the barrel section, we got the Gawain 188mm shrouded barrel. I was trying to look around initially when I was, you know, going back and forth between which barrels to use, but the Gawain barrel just works out beautifully, and I absolutely love that. Recoil control is like something you lose, and of course a little bit of headshot damage, but this is really great for overall less damage, of course, at fall off range, and, you know, your bullet velocity and your limb damage. I mean, this is definitely, you know, really solid barrel to run. Just when you just take a look at the benefits to the disadvantages, I mean, it's definitely the way to go. After that, in the underbarrel section, you got the M1941 hand stop. This is gonna be pretty solid, but if you guys want to use something that's a little bit different, if you feel like you want to be a little bit more agile, a little bit more mobile, you can run the Mark VI skeletal, and that's gonna be pretty solid as well. But I heard a lot of people say that on console, it makes it a little bit harder to use with a skeletal, and you want a little bit more recoil control. So the M1941 is gonna be what I would suggest for you guys. After that, in the magazine section, we got the 7.62 Gorenko 72 round drum. This is going to help us with the recoil control and our accuracy, fire rate, and magazine ammo capacity. Of course, this is going to give you some, you know, negatives, but overall, I definitely would recommend the Gorenko. It's kind of similar to what we run on the well gun, where it seems like it wouldn't be the best option, but it definitely is the best option in the magazine category. After that, in the ammunition, we have to run lengthened here once again. We would have ran hollow point for increased limb damage, but they did nerf hollow point. We don't want to be using that anymore, so lengthened is going to be the way to go for this gun. After that, in the rear grip section, we got the fabric grip here for ADS speed, sprint to fire, and hip fire accuracy. Of course, you lose a tad bit of accuracy, but overall, increasing your mobility is definitely a good thing. After that, in the optics section, we have the slate reflector here, and I recommend for y'all to run the slate reflector. They actually changed the ground loot version of the Owen gun to have the slate reflector on it. I'm definitely a fan of that. I was not a fan of that 2.5x like hybrid sight. So I would recommend the slate or the Nightr Model 47, whatever you feel comfortable with at this point. I'm pretty much the Nightr or the slate, either or, can't go wrong. After that, in the stock section, we got the remove stock here. This is going to help hugely with overall mobility, and I'd recommend pretty much this over any of these other ones in here. It doesn't make any sense to run anything else besides remove stock. After that, though, in the perk section, we have acrobatic here for movement speed and sprinting move speed. Highly recommend acrobatic. I've tried to run some other stuff previously, but I'd say that overall acrobatic is 100% going to be the way to go. I don't really find a reason to run something like brace or sleight of hand. Those are like the other two like really effective ones, and sometimes even steady, but I don't really feel like I need ADS for move speed. I just need overall mobility, and the acrobatic, you know, perk is gonna do that for me. And then of course we have quick here for sprint speed, which is gonna boost our overall mobility and make us just run around like an absolute madman. We love that. So this is my full build here for the Owen gun. Absolute tank of a weapon. I got a meta build here for it. You know, that's what it's saved as, is meta. And for good reason, because it's super solid, and it definitely did not get nerfed here within this update. It's just really good. All right, now we need to take a look at the Automaton. The Automaton is a gun that has been kind of creeping a little bit under the radar, but has definitely been getting picked up more nowadays because they've been slowly making those Vanguard guns a little bit better than what they used to be. And the Automaton used to just shoot peas. It was not good at all. But ever since some of these more recent updates, they've been doing the Automaton some justice, and I really like it nowadays. So let's get into an Automaton build here for this thing. All right, so this is my build here for the Automaton. Let's get into this attachment breakdown. First thing on this, the MX silencer. Of course, got to reduce that recoil and keep us off the radar. That's the reason we're running that. I think this is definitely a good attachment to run. After that, in the barrel section, we got the Zach 600mm BFA barrel. I have seen some other people try to run the Anastasia sniper, but overall, when it comes down to making this gun more controllable recoil-wise, be able to hit more shots, this is definitely the way to go. After that, in the underbarrel section, we got the M1941 hand stop, recoil control, and accuracy. This, like I said previously, is, you know, my go-to hand grip or my underbarrel on pretty much a large majority of these Vanguard weapons. I don't find any reason to use largely anything else in here besides the M1941. At that magazine section, we got the 6.5 millimeter Sakura 75 round drum. This works out beautifully in terms of having a great amount of ammo capacity, and it's going to be the basic ammunition, so you're not going to be losing anything in terms of your damage range, anything else like that. This is just going to be the basic, and works out really well. After that, the ammunition, we got lengthened on here, of course, because this is an assault rifle. We had this on here anyways, even previous to the update, because we want our shots to hit faster. You know, it's an AR, so we want to be able to hit better shots at range. In the rear grip section, we got the Stippled for recoil recovery and initial firing recoil. This thing will move around a little bit too much, kind of, if you don't have that, so I'd recommend that. In the optic section, I have the G16 2.5x for better magnification, and this is just such a good optic in my opinion. I run this on everything, like between my SDG, you know, this. I mean, I just love the G16 2.5x. It's really good. In the stock section, we got the Anastasia padded here for accuracy and recoil during sustained fire, and of course, better flinch resistance. Obviously, the flinch resistance comes in handy because, you know, when you're getting shot at, you know, if you get off target, there's a large chance that they're going to be hitting shots on you, and you could go down and of course die, which is never a good thing in Warzone. You want to be able to stay alive as long as possible. Your ultimate goal is to not die throughout an entire game of Rebirth, and I mean, that happens very infrequently, but you know, when you can do that, it's pretty cool. For our attachment in terms of perks, we have tight grip here for accuracy and recoil during sustained fire. Definitely really good. Helps kind of minimize any sort of, you know, bullet deviation with this gun, and this is like my go-to on this. You don't need sleight of hand on here. I mean, you got a 75 round mag. It's not really needed. So we run tight grip, and then for our perk 2, we run fully loaded here just because, I mean, well, max starting ammo capacity. I know some people like running on hand, and this apparently has a bit of a benefit in terms of your ADS, where it will actually make you ADS a little bit quicker, so you can try that out. But it is a little bit sort of like, depending on the gun, like it's not like it's a blanket, you know, increases it by 30 milliseconds overall. It's just kind of dependent on the gun, and I don't exactly know what it does for this gun, but I always find fully loaded to be very beneficial. So this is my full build here for the Automaton. Absolutely love this thing nowadays. Didn't used to beforehand by any means, but it's definitely really good now. And for our last gun here today in this top 5, we're gonna take a look at the Cold War AK47. This one, ever since of course that update, is now making definitely a bit of a surge in terms of popularity. People like this because it hits very hard. It's also a Cold War gun, so people have it unlocked. Actually, a lot of the Vanguard guns, people have them ranked up because it takes forever, and this being a really solid AR, and it's of course got some cool variants. I mean, it's all around can be really good. So let's get into a build for it. All right, so this is my build for this thing. First on this is going to be that beautiful GRU suppressor, like I always say. AR build, not a hybrid build, so we run the GRU. After that, in the barrel, we have the Spetsnaz RPK. Of course, we got to run this here because this is the task force barrel equivalent. definitely need to make sure we're controlling all that recoil and of course getting the maximum benefits in terms of our bullet velocity and effective damage range. So that's the reason we get on this. At that in the underbarrel section, Spetsnaz script, of course, we got to be able to control recoil here once again. And like it for sure needs this, like it really does. So don't go with anything else, run the Spetsnaz. At that in the magazine, we got the 45, but you guys could definitely go ahead and run the 60. Up to your personal preference. Like I said, I am a 60 round magazine kind of guy, and I do like the 60, but you know, I mean, 45, 60, you know, personal preference, throw on there what you want. I just have 45 on here for the time being, but I may end up switching over to 60 when I use this here a little bit more so, just because I really been liking the 60 on the XM4. So like I said, just choose whatever you want. It's going to work out either way just fine. And for our last attachment here, the Axle Arms 3 times, of course, the tried and true optic here for the Cold War ARs. This is all I got here for this build, and this is all I got for my top 5. If you guys enjoyed today's video, if you guys enjoyed the new Rebirth update, make sure you drop a like, subscribe if you're brand new, turn on those post notifications, and just on the cap, don't be Randy, and I'm out. Peace.